go up? Where'd you go down? Just give me the full breakdown.
Right. I started around OH1 season 22 or something.
Yep.
And I've been placed in bronze on every role. Back in
Yep.
the day, just pretty much till OH2 started, I was Genji main, almost one trick.
Welcome
Um,
to the club.
yeah, and, yeah. So I've been climbing in OH1 to plat, like yeah, pretty fast. I'd say.
Yep.
Um, yeah, one time I hit diamond on tank, my worst roll. I don't know,
That's
and
funny.
yeah, then OH2 started, and that's where it becomes kind of weird. And I've always been kind of yeah, unsure about my own rank because in season three, I've always been plat, and then OH2 started. I instantly ranked up to diamond instantly
Mm-hmm.
while being plat for like, I don't know, a good amount of time in OH1. And
Yeah.
then season three started in OH2, and I just kept climbing. I just didn't lose and hit GM5, and I felt like that's way too high for me.
Was this like season four? Do you remember?
Um, yeah, it's at that time, like
Yeah.
everybody would just hit masters and everything.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So that kind of weird. And the problem was that I deranked to masters, right? I don't know,
Right.
season five or something.
Where you kind of belong.
But yeah, I just stayed in masters, and I don't know. I've always been like, okay, am I really good enough for masters? Like I was plat this long, and
Right.
yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, I hit top 500 for the start of the season, so nothing special, but like 2 seasons ago, and that was
Yep.
like my wake-up call. Okay, you are kind of good at this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, now yeah.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. What changed? Did anything change with the way that you practice between the start and your improvement? Like right before you started to climb early in Overwatch 2, leading into like season 5, season 6.
Um, well, the only thing was I started watching Awkward, and
Mm-hmm.
at the start of OH2, if I don't think I've said it,
Mm-hmm.
I basically one-tricked Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, up
Yeah.
till now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just watched Awkward's videos, and that kind of helped me to,
Yeah.
yeah, he puts his videos in a very simple term, and like
Yes.
I could follow that
Yeah.
pretty easily.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't
Yeah, I mean it
think there
makes
was
sense,
that
right? I
much
don't I don't think
difference.
it's a miracle. Like you get some really good feedback about how you should be playing Ana. You one trick a character and then good things happen, right? Um,
Yeah.
so obviously there's a lot of imposter syndrome, I'm sure, in there about like, am I really this good? And as you said, yes, you are. And it's not a miracle that you got there because obviously Awkward's feedback is really good when it comes to Ana and knowing how you play or what you need to be doing, and then just one tricking. It's like there you go. So congrats. Now, since then, you've plateaued obviously a little bit. Now, to call it a plateau is accurate, but doesn't tell the full story because obviously you're playing at a really high level right now. The analogy that I use is that you've got this overwhelming weight pressing down on you right now, and you've continually pushed more and more and more and more of that weight up to the point now where it's gotten so unbelievably heavy that you'd have to be basically superhuman to push it higher, and you've quote unquote plateaued now. But plateauing in Masters 2, I mean, 98% of the player base wishes they had your problem. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you've plateaued, but that's because the weight's gotten unbelievably heavy. So you have to do, I wouldn't say unbelievable things, but you do have to progress further than what you're doing right now. So let's evaluate what you're doing right now. Ignore the educational content. We'll come back to that in a little bit. In terms of how you're actually practicing, what do you think about the quality of your practice right now? The playtime, the hero pool, the mentality, the goals, the discipline, the consistency, the patience. You tell me.
Okay. I think my mentality is okay. Like, I'm sometimes I'm like, okay, I should have done better, and that yeah, we should win this fight if I have done better. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And yeah, but like always focus. I try to focus on myself and
Yeah.
like only on my mistakes. Like if my teammates are bad, I just yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I can only change myself and the gameplay of myself.
Yeah,
So
of course. Of course. Okay.
yeah,
So that's fine.
that's kind of
Okay. And in
my
terms of your
mindset.
practice quality.
Um, boy, I sometimes I rewatch my games and it's also kind of weird because I know when I play a game and I make a mistake, like I don't know, nano the wrong target or at the wrong time, whatever. Um, I know it was a mistake, and
Yeah.
at times where I die, there are times where I die, and I don't really know what I should have done better because I know some different things I could have done, but I don't know if they would be any better. It's
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay. What
what
about
do
your
you?
just gameplay, just playtime?
It's it's up and down. Like I'm a trainee and I'm working. So it's since I started working, it's pretty inconsistent.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I have other games that I play sometimes, or with my friends. They are pretty low rank, so I
Mm-hmm.
just play unranked with them. But like I don't know, 2 seasons ago where I hit the top 500 for the first time. Um, yeah, I lost track.
Yeah. Okay.
um,
Just seems like not super consistent with playtime. I mean, even your form talks about it, right?
yeah,
So I'm gonna be honest with you. Probably not reasonable with the goals that you have.
I know. Like I know for sure that I won't stay in top 500 if I play. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, 1 hour, 4 hours in a week. I know that, but I think it's possible for me to hit a GM when I log in for like I don't know a month.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. And I also don't think there's anything wrong with doing that if you just want to reach it just for fun and then just call it from there because you have other things you're interested in. I mean, it's just a game, you know. So
Yeah,
do whatever you want. But I guess just again, the question is just be honest with yourself, right? Like, can you be honest with yourself in that regard, right? That doesn't mean pushing yourself to do something that you don't want to do, but it does mean that if you're not pushing yourself, you're not expecting a magical result, right? There's no like unicorn that's going to come down and give you GM. You work for it or you don't, and that's pretty much all there is to it. To work for it, I mean, you're going to need to put a couple hours every day. You're going to need to try to one trick or two trick. You're going to need to spend less time unranked and playing. You're probably also going to need to get more sleep. Like I'm looking at your form here, and that's obviously a weak point, right? Like that's not. I know
yeah,
you sound like you're real busy, but that's a for the level that you're demanding. Again, we go back to the analogy here. You've plateaued at a very high rank. You're demanding a lot from yourself. You're demanding to perform at a 99 percentile level, right? So
hmm
if you're not training at a 99 percentile level, you're not going to hit that 99 percentile level. So that's kind of what you need to be aiming for, if that makes sense. And you know this, right? But I guess just having a second opinion to remind you of that is maybe worth going for. So,
yeah,
and I encourage you as well, like, let's talk maybe quickly about educational content, right? Like, exposing yourself to new ideas and giving yourself concepts to practice is obviously really important. Obviously, it's what worked with you before, and it's gotten you to this point as well, which is great. But at this point, I think it's going to be more about number one, the quality of the practice that you do, and number two, an honest self-evaluation of what you are lacking, right? Which is obviously why you're here, right? Like a coaching session is obviously going to be a lot more efficient than watching more YouTube videos and more tips and tricks and more guides, right? But at the same time,
yeah,
it's like you have to find out where your shortcomings, right? What part of the guides are not applicable to you, where, and that's going to take more than just this coaching session. That's also going to take personal follow-up on yourself, right? Talk about self-VOD review, right? Go into a game and look for your weak points, right? Maybe that takes a little bit longer. Maybe that's a little bit boring. Sorry, you just have to do it. Now, you don't have to do it often, maybe once a month, but you do have to do it. You have a game where you were confused about how to position or how to use your cooldowns. Well, you don't need to spend 15 minutes looking at it, but you probably deserve 5, right? Probably worth looking at a couple of fights. And again, if you're not willing to do that, I mean, those 5 minutes are twice as valuable as 30 minutes listening to a Spilo coaching video. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Because it's you. It's you. It's you. It's direct to you. It's your feedback. And it's also you thinking about it and not me telling you what to do or what to think about, right? Or following awkward
Yeah.
system or whatever else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I guess the big thing here is going to be about efficiency with your time, not just more time. And obviously the key thing here is like, I encourage you to do this when you're serious about applying yourself. That may not be today. Maybe today you take some things to work on. 2 months down the road, you decide I've got time for it. I'm gonna make a push. Okay, well now you know what you need to do. You need to get a couple more hours of sleep. You need to spend a little bit more time in VOD. You need to be a little bit more consistent with your play time. That those are the things that have to change here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions about anything we've talked about so far?
No.
Okay. Do you have a general idea of like when you want to flip that switch? You know exactly what you need to be doing outside of the game.
Like when I log in, you know what you mean?
Yeah. When it's time to climb, if you ever decide that it's time to climb, right? There's nothing wrong with calling it and applying yourself to something else. It's just Overwatch. It's just a game.
Yeah, my exams, like I have my final exams. I've had them for like the last month or so, and the final one is in about 2 weeks, and after that, I should be free to go.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to, I mean, life is full of things to apply yourself to. It doesn't have to be freaking Overwatch. But
Yeah.
I encourage you, if you do want to apply yourself, this is how you're going to do it. So, okay. No other questions about any of that?
For now, no.
Okay. Any questions about strategy or Ana or anything else? Your form says that you feel like what's holding you back in terms of strategy was the ability to adapt to team composition. Would you still feel that's the case?
For sure, it's part of the thing, but the problem. But I don't really know. Like sometimes I'm just uncertain about certain things. I can't really name them because it's sometimes positioning, sometimes team composition, adaptation.
Sure. Now I got to ask you, is it in the moment confusion or is it hindsight confusion?
That's a good question. Like, oh, I don't even really know how to answer that because
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Then let me kind of clarify why that's important, right? Have you ever been taking an exam, gotten to a question that you generally know the answer to, but the pressure of the situation means that your kind of mind goes blank?
Yeah.
That's in the moment, and that means that you may remember the answer, but you don't really know the solution. So when you're in the middle of a match and you fail to apply what you know, or your mind goes blank, or you make mistakes, or you just kind of get confused about what to do, but you should know it, right? That's just you don't have the reps, you don't have the practice. You need to practice those situations more. If in hindsight you go back and you review it or you look at it and you don't honestly know the answer, that's an ignorance. You actually just don't know the solution. So one's a practice problem, one's a knowledge problem. For you, based off of how much research that you've done and how smart of a player you probably are, I would predict it's probably more often than not a practice problem. You generally, in hindsight, could probably come up with the solution. Just in the moment, you don't have the reps. But I think it's important to kind of highlight the difference between the two, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so what you should do is, if you're struggling in the moment to make decisions like that, or you feel lost about certain aspects, you need to be making those decisions more, which means you need to practice those things more and more deliberately. And don't worry as much about, I need to study and study and study and study more. That might not be the solution here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other questions before we get in here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you want to get in some gameplay review here?
Yes. I didn't play the last few days because I've been pretty busy, but I've played like 2 hours ago some games, and this one is a pretty it's a bit embarrassing at times, but
How so?
yeah.
Why would
I
you
didn't
describe
play
it as...
really good.
Yeah, okay. Why do you think that is? Are you washed? You rusty? Just early games or just unlucky?
Well, it's kind of difficult because they had a Sombra and she was not bad at all. and I don't know. Like, I wasn't sure about my positioning. Like, was I really good? I try. I'm very confident in like taking 1-on-ones with Sombras, but as I said, she was pretty good.
Sure.
And yeah, I lost it a couple of times, and then I think like, okay, should I have gone to my team instead, or yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've also been a bit rusty. Like my shots, you will see, are not the greatest. I do hit some nice sleeps though.
Okay, that's fine. If any questions about On before we get started here?
Um, yeah, like some basics.
Sure.
I know Anna's pretty flexible in like team compositions. You can pretty much play her in
Yeah.
whatever. And but I don't really know a lot about team comms. I know the basics, but nothing crazy or anything. Do you think it's important to know the good team compositions?
No. I think it's important
Okay.
to play your effective range versus whatever the enemy team throws at you. Like I look at this composition here and I'm like, all right, pretty much just keep a longer angle versus everything, depending on the situation, obviously, and the status of the cooldowns.
Yeah,
But
sure.
there's nothing really that's going to snipe you out. But if they whipped out a Widow Genji here, you'd have to be pretty creative with the angles that you're holding, right? Long sightlines that
Yeah,
avoid
yeah.
the Widow sightlines. You need to track your threat. So I think when it comes to knowing compositions, you're more about like, what angles should I take given where they are and what heroes that they're playing? You know, like you wouldn't even necessarily go, oh, they're on double sniper, I'm going to take a really short angle. Like, what if their double snipers are really close, or what if they're positioned really weirdly, right? So just
Yeah.
read the situation, and I think you're probably going to know the matchup better than you think. So, okay. You hear Orisa, you hear Genji. This angle's fine. I would be looking for anti-nade as soon as possible here. So, like, this is where you could swing to here and jump to here, just so that you can get a better angle for a nade. Now, if you don't see a nade, there's no reason to use it, but that obviously is a priority.
Yeah. I'm just kind of hanging around.
It's unfortunate. So, what I would say right now, the problem that you have is the position that you're taking, and maybe even the mentality that you're applying right now, is you're not really pressuring at all pre-fight, right? And Awkward would be tearing his hair out right now, right? Because this fight has been going for some time and you've been putting out little fires, but nothing that you have done has had any impact whatsoever. There's been no pressure on Orisa, there's been no anti-nade, there's no pressure on Genji, there's been no pressure on Sombra. You've done basically nothing. Now, obviously, you're a master support player. It's not that you don't know this, but I'm highlighting this has not been enough of a priority for you right now, which is why your Mercy dies here.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't it's not just Sombra. This is a team effort here, right? This is a team effort. This Orisa is allowed to stay here without any sort of resources or pressure. And yeah, you missed the shot, which sucks. But, like, again, we're just putting out fires without really contributing anything right now. Like, that right there is an opportunity for anti-nade, right? So this is why you have to not just know your matchups, but you have to know your positions here, right? You've heard Genji, you've heard Sombra, and yet I'm asking you to use anti-nade aggressively. Why?
Well, because they're very far away and can't push me really easily.
Everything's contextual. And Genji and Sombra are threatening when they're threatening. They're not threatening right now because of their positions. So you have all the information you need. Stop saving it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So you have to read the room with enemy positions in terms of what do I need to use and what do I need to save.
I was just like, I don't know, maybe the fight. I thought the fight would start on point, like they have to come on it eventually.
Yeah,
So
I understand that. That would be
yeah.
like a real Dievo, like the fight is really, really going. But like, let's not lie here. This fight has started. Look at your Sojourn. Look at your Sombra. Listen to the Sombra. Look at the Orisa. Right there's combat happening here. I understand what you're saying. At the very least here, even if you're not looking for anti-nade, I would like at least some weapon pressure here. Right, at least some weapon pressure. Okay, so a little bit more urgency. What happens here? It's a good sleep. To be frank, I would just rotate away. Find a clutch play. Don't stand here. Use the sleep to rotate away and find a different angle that either is further away from the Orisa, or if you're gonna die, get something out of it. This is too late. Okay.
Don't watch.
Yeah, it's kind of messy. Like even this here, like okay. Why? You know, you have a Juno right in front of you. You know, like it's okay. you know, I'm going to point out the errors here, and I'm going to make some assumptions. I'm going to make the assumption that you don't normally play like this, okay? So I'm going to be tough on you, right? But I encourage you not to just be like, oh, I'm bad, this sucks. You need to evaluate, I don't normally play like this. What's going through my head at this point in time? What kind of mind state was I in leading into this game? Were you playing differently because you had a coaching session coming up? Was there a fear of errors?
No, that I don't think that's the problem.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't even really tell you. I'm
That's okay.
always just very often I play on autopilot and just okay, teammate took even if it's a tiny bit of damage, like okay, like I get a shot in. I don't know.
Okay. So just maybe a lack of deliberate, just a lack of deliberation. Just this action just kind of going through the motions here. So something kind of, again, like, you know, we're criticizing the result here, but again, we have to go back. Okay, so then why are you playing kind of on autopilot? Why are you not playing or training deliberately? Do you have the energy for it? Do you have the focus for it? Do you usually practice without energy? Is this just a habit for you in terms of how you perform generally?
It's pretty much a habit, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't love the nade, but at least it felt like you were trying something, right? Like there was some intention behind what you were attempting to do instead of just kind of going through the motions here. Like even here, like you have full information. Where should you be right now?
On the high ground where I was last fight.
You have full information on Sombra and Genji and Orisa. Rotate. Take a better position. Good sleep. I don't love the immediate waking of the Orisa. It's just a general rule. Sleep her and leave her alone and find something else to shoot. And then if there's nothing else, shoot her. But bowling both cooldowns and then, you know, barely chipping her HP kind of sucks. And that's just more of a matchup thing. Good shot. Like, we're hitting good sleeps. Like, you're catching her where she doesn't think you're going to get her. But obviously, like, you need to stop waking her. Sleep her and then find pressure elsewhere. This is kind of the second time you've seen that. And again, is that just are you really being deliberate with that? Like, you sleep her and then you just chucked a nade at her, right, when she's basically full HP. Like, you should probably know better at this point, right? So then why didn't you do that? And again, it kind of goes back to our previous question. Autopilot is instinct without effort. So there's two things that you're going to see when you autopilot. Number one, you're going to see how all the habits that you have trained consciously back in the day, but they're not going to be the best versions of those things, right? So for example, here, you're probably playing worse than you normally are, but you're also probably making similar mistakes even when you are trying, just not quite as bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's not bad to autopilot if you're trying to perform. It just may not be the best version of what you're trying to do. Okay. Like even this, right? Like, let's take some space. Okay, good. Really don't like the nades on the Orisa without knowing her cooldowns. I'm honestly not even sure that nade for Fortify is a good trade anymore. Nade to force Fortify, if that makes sense, just with how long nade is in terms of the cooldown. Just keep that in mind. I think sleeping when she's kind of caught off guard is fine, given the fact that there has been basically zero pressure on you this entire game. So you can basically just use sleep as you will. But nade, I'm not so sure. Good nano. I was waiting for it. Good try with the sleep too. That was really close. Okay, we keep going. Nice. Good try. So, in terms of information, this is fine in terms of the angle that you're controlling. But obviously, if you see, like that is, I'm not so sure, a good nade, but it's probably the best nade that we've seen because you have heard Sombra elsewhere, number one. Number two, you know that's going to hit. And number three, it's going to hit and maybe force Fortify. So I don't know if a nade for Fortify is worth, but I know it's at least better than what we've seen earlier, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably a best nade. Nice sleep.
pretty proud of
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
exactly what I was talking about. Like, we know that she's not really in a position to pressure you, so she has to kind of rush things, and it's just a really bad engage from her, right? So, I think it's kind of important to highlight, how you can use your cooldowns depends more on their positions and less on the composition. Like now, that's really important what you just heard in your left. Obviously, the audio is really quiet for you, but we heard Translocator on your left. So she's going to be coming in from this angle here, which means you need to be really cautious with both of your CDs right now.
Yeah, I heard her even pinged, but...
And what you can do, so this is kind of goofy, is you can even slightly adjust your angle. So if somebody's played a lot of Sombra, it's really irritating. So what that might mean is you might rotate back to here and just corner LOS, right? And just use this here. There's even an argument here for you to drop to point and rotate across this way and completely change your angle. Obviously, you don't have to get too silly with it. If this was a really powerful position, you'd be fine, but it's a little naked. You see this? So you can do like little micro rotations there to really throw her off.
Feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Like same thing with the cooldowns here. Like obviously the sleep dart is panicked, and that's the big crime here. But then here, do not nade run. Do not nade run. Run, find a different angle, and then get it. Because if the nade there, it's like, okay, you're going to force fortify, and then you're going to get run over and killed anyway. You see that? So it's just more of a micro thing in terms of how you play that matchup. Okay. Oh, wow, you guys are still clutching this? That's crazy. I guess you get the primal. Nice sleep. Trying to think if there's anything here. It's another one of those moments where you just kind of have to anticipate her timing, right? So you haven't heard any information from her. So then just don't stay scoped like this. Quickly juke and kind of use the box and high ground. Because remember, her timer is like 5 seconds, right? So you're going to either hear Translocator or you're going to see her, one or the other. She has to show her hand in 5 seconds. Does that make sense? So if you're kind of juking and then you hear Translocator here, well, then you have a couple of seconds to either rotate or just scope in because she's not going to want to come out early. Sombra's like really, really playable. Or you can play around her much easier if you're actually paying attention.
Yeah.
Take top, take top, take top, take top, take top. Just for a better vision, right? Like you have no information on Sombra being dead. Obviously, you see Orisa, there's no surprises. You're just too slow to rotate here. Fill the gap. You can sleep that. Oh, that sucks. Oh, dear. Nice.
Oh.
That's fine. I'm just, your rotation here is just terrible. Like, once you know where Sombra is and you have both CDs and you see Orisa's used hers, you should be boldly dealing with this right here. Boldly dealing with this. And then once she leaves, you need to be going back to here and power positioning here. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. It happens. You could even just honestly nano the cast. I know the vision there where it's like, oh, I can nano the Winston and save him, but either one works. I think she's going to get the Ana. Yeah, she got the Ana out, so... It's not a good nano, but... At least she got something out of it, right? Yeah, you're fine. Okay. Okay, let's... Obvious problem. Very, very unintentional with basically every action that you're taking, right? The consequence of that is that a lot of things look kind of messy. There's not as much intentionality with how you're using your anti-nade or cooldowns versus the tank. There's not as much intention with how you're rotating based off the information that you have. And there's definitely too much healing. Now, the funny thing is when you're challenged just a little bit, case in point being the Sombra with the sleeps, right? When you're challenged, you rise to that challenge. Even the nano was a mistake, but it could tell that you were forced into, I have to help this guy out. You were challenged and you performed. You screwed it up, but you did try, right?
Yeah.
The question is when you're not directly and immediately challenged, you don't directly and immediately push yourself. And so you end up losing the fight. So the irony here is that you perform best when you're going to die. That's when you perform best. Because that's when you're forced to actually get your brain in gear. Otherwise, you just flub it, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with support is that sometimes your lack of effort is not punished with your death. It's punished with your teammates' death. We saw that multiple times, right? So you got to find ways to motivate yourself here. That might mean setting more small goals. That might mean enjoying the process of outputting pressure more. That might mean sleeping more, right? But you look like me playing on a after I've been coaching for 3 hours and streaming for 6. You kind of get what I'm saying? That's not a compliment, right? Like I'm pretty good on it, but I start just kind of going through the motions at some point, right? And everyone in stream backseats me, right? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. And so obviously you need to do some self-evaluation about, what do I need to be doing to motivate myself when this is a goal? And to be honest with you, if you really want to get better, you don't have to figure out what motivates yourself. You just need to find a system that helps you to do better, right? Which is either training at a better time for yourself, going in with something specific to work on. Not having goals is not knowing what you need to get better at is a pretty discouraging thing. Like it just makes practice really unmotivating. So maybe this session will help, but this is going to be a lot of your reflection about what needs to change here, because this is just very much going through the motions. Like even here, so like you're going to roll out here, and you're going to choose this position here. I don't hate this, but also, is this really the best angle that you can play given the status of the information that you have right now?
Could have been more forward.
I agree, right? Like there's no real reason not to, right? Like even if Sombra shows up, who cares? Like Orisa, you saw cast, you saw backline, so take that information and move with it, right? And so this is when you talked about your weakness with reading compositions. I'm not convinced that's a weakness. I'm convinced that's only a weakness because you just don't put enough effort into it, right? You have all the information that you need to move forward here, so go for it. Do it. Sombra's not a threat right now. You have both cooldowns. So even here, it's like, okay, yeah, I understand that you're down the Sombra, but to be honest with you, I think you have to take a risk here. You're down one. Push an angle, right? Don't necessarily walk into the Orisa. Push an angle. Open up an angle here. See if you can bait the Orisa to push in, sleeper, run away, trying to find an open nade here. Rotate with your Genji. Like, what are you going to do? You're letting the fire spread and just being like, oh, I'm going to keep pouring this bucket on this little one ember here, right? This is not going to help things.
Right.
Your Winston tried to make something happen, right? Which is the correct play. You did nothing. And again, I know this must be painful to watch because you're like, I'm not usually playing like this. This is so bad, right? But right, so we know that you're better than this. So again, I'm not criticizing your lack of understanding of how to execute this, or I'm not even second guessing your ability to execute this. So then why not this game? And does this happen often, right?
Yeah, right.
I believe in you, right? You're a smart guy. You've done this before. You climbed from bronze to freaking Masters 2, right? Or GM4 or whatever, right? Like even boosted or not, that's insane, right? Like even here, be part of the problem. Or be part of the problem, I say. Be part of the solution, right? How are you going to break this choke? How are you going to break this choke?
Probably going through the room on the right. And like,
are you going to get run over by Orisa?
No.
Probably not. Not if you play this corner really well. It's a difficult jump for Orisa. So just chuck the nade, hold the sleep, see what happens, play around the mini, create some pressure. Let's go. Be part of the solution here. This is not the angle to look for nade here, right? Like that's walking to Orisa. It's no good. And the funny thing is if you do that, what will happen is you will end up creating an angle with which your Mercy can comfortably walk through. And then also, oh, wow, maybe I'll have LOS my Mercy. Or, oh, wow, maybe I run into Sombra, right? If your Mercy's going to die, get something out of it here.
Yeah.
You're trying to catch the Sombra's engage, right? And as you said earlier, she's just too freaking good. Like, look at that. Like, that's actually really clever from her. So I'm going to highlight this, right? So she comes out of stealth and hacks. But she knows you're going to immediately 180 straight. So she ducks behind. She uses the wall hack. She baits your attention. Then she waits for you to turn around and then hits the virus. To be honest with you, I actually don't like this translocator from her. She could have shot a little bit more, but you're cooked.
Yeah.
The Sombra's ruining you. And then she waits for you to use a nade, because you have to. And then you're dead.
Yeah, I should have stayed asleep there, but...
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think there's anything you could have done better. Once you get hacked virus, it's over, right? The question is everything that led up to that point. Be part of the solution. Let's take some space here. You don't know where Sombra is, but you do have 2 cooldowns, and you see Winston backline. Where should you go?
Yeah, where my break is, or even on the right. I don't know, under the house.
Like here?
No, on the right. Yeah. Ooh, that's.
Yeah, I mean, you see what I'm saying? Come on, come on. You've got double cooldowns here. Sneak up here, get the angle here. You've never been here, right? And
Yeah.
that's inexcusable, right? Because it's what's needed for the situation, right? We don't memorize compositions. We look at the situation. We go, okay, we need to create space. I got to worry about Sombra, but I have double cooldowns, and I think she's somewhere over here. So then this is a really safe rotation. Let's go. You're letting this Orisa and Sombra ruin you. Orisa's holding main, Sombra's holding angle, and you guys are kind of just hoping something is going to happen. Like, that's a good sleep, but my goodness, that's like you're making things so incredibly hard. Like that's incredibly hard. That's a really good sleep, but so what?
Yeah.
So what, right? So what? Even here, don't run away. You have nade. You hit a shot. Sneak in here. Whap! Right? There's your angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also have heard Sombra over here too, so you know that I can use nade offensively, especially when there's a mini nearby, without getting punished because of the information that I have. You don't need to track everybody. You just need to track what's important to you, which for right now is really only Sombra. Nice job. Nice nade. You could nano this still if you wanted to.
Yeah, I was thinking about nanoing the Genji there, but...
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, take some space, take some space. Stop. This is where it's overhealing, right? You've done a good job up to this point. Now we need to move. We need to get to here and not overpush because ults, right? We haven't talked as much about ult tracking. That's good, Nano. It's not a very intentional nade, you know? It's not that the idea was bad. It's that the placement is bad. You see it?
Yeah, I was just trying to hit both, but...
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. It's a common mistake. Just go for one. Choose the one. Hit the one. Overheal, you know? That's that last shot. Let's go. We need some chip damage here. We need some chip healing here.
I was predicting some
and then now your Brig dies for it, right? I know you're predicting shots, but it's every action you take with Ana is an opportunity cost. There is no free lunch here, right? Somebody has to pay for it. And so you got to look at the situation and be like, my cast is full HP. He's had the high noon active for some time. I know somebody must be taking damage somewhere, and indeed there was.
Yeah.
So this is just you didn't know where she was, right? So as this fight has evolved, it has gotten harder and harder to track her positioning. So I'm not going to criticize you for your cooldown usage there because you just made a choice and you made the wrong choice, but it's because you had incomplete information. You never ever focus on the hard decisions that you failed. You focus on the easy decisions that you failed. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
So that's unfortunate. You got a little lucky, but I don't really care. It happens. Your angle here is wrong. What information do you have? Where should you be?
Either on the right high ground or on the left, widening out my angle.
Correct. Would you get isolated by Sombra if you went on the left?
Not right now, I think.
No, not right now. Because where is she?
Way back in spawn, okay.
You got me? They got me,
yeah.
Right? So that's the only information that you need. The other information you need is where's the cast? Where's it? Well, everybody's freaking here. So any angle that you choose is yours. You can even use cooldowns from those angles if you'd like to. But to be honest with you, the cooldown may or may not happen, but who cares? Like, look at this sideline for crying out loud.
Yeah.
This is murder. Or as you said, I generally don't love this high ground unless it's completely uncontested, but fine, sure. Let's say you take the position here briefly. It's high risk, but yeah, it's all right. You know. Good. And see, even here, you're not as scared of Sombra because you heard her on the left and you have a Cassidy with you, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Way too much healing, though. You see it? Way too much healing. We need to be burning that Orisa right now. This Orisa needs to have taken like at least 200 more damage because if she takes 200 damage now, she can't do this. You see this? You're losing space because of your lack of offensive pressure. You've done almost literally 0 damage in the last 10 seconds. And so now it's defensive nade, defensive rally, and then now look at where you've been shoved in, right? You've let that Sombra Orisa bully you around. Okay. This has been a very negative VOD review. I apologize.
It's fine completely, really.
All right.
I'm here for this, so.
Okay. I think the reason why it's been more negative is because I think I have higher expectations, right? Based off of what you know and what I'm sure you can do. To be frank, this is not a Masters 2 performance.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, It is not a Masters 2 performance, and I think that's I think that the biggest difficulty here. But I think that's also encouraging, right? Because it doesn't mean that you have a long uphill path of like, oh, I've got to, you know, a Masters 5 player, Diamond whatever player, has to build instincts, you know, restart from scratch. You don't. You got to be like, okay, this is what I'm capable of. This is what I'm not doing. So what's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you are capable of it, and you know that. Okay. Oh, I thought that was gonna hit. That's okay. It's a good try. Okay. I'm gonna be blown away this last round. I'm ready for it. Any questions so far?
Yeah, no.
It feels like a little bit of everything, which is a bad thing and a good thing, because it means that most of your issues are more to do with the effort and focus that you're giving the game. It also means, though, that you can practice a lot of different things, being more intentional with your rotations based off of enemy positions that you know. Right? Where are people? So what angle should I take? Okay, number one. Where are my cooldowns? What angle should I take? Putting more intention behind your offensive pressure and recognizing that when things get a little bit messy, things get a little bit sloppy, you tend to just kind of heal bot a little bit. Not entirely, but more so than you should. Those are the two things I'm looking at the most. Did you have anything else that you saw as well?
Yeah, you just pretty much said it.
Okay.
I'm just not warm, like I'm a bit rusty and not paying too much attention to whatever I'm doing, basically.
Right. There's you know the system. You need to reapply yourself to the fundamentals of that system. Now there's little details as well, like we talked a little bit about, like the nade versus the Orisa Fortify. You know, little things like that. But I think for the most part, it's been okay. With the information you have, what do you got?
I should swing to the left, or
I think so too. There's a window of time when you hear Translocator when you can move here and at least look for a peak here. Chuck a nade and then even drop back and rotate here. I mean, I get it. This is an awkward rotation, and you don't necessarily have to do that.
I was just waiting for the tank to.
Right. But I think even here is a perfect time. So like, you've seen Virus, you've seen Translocator. This is your window. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your window to walk, nade this, and rotate here, or to rotate first, then nade, and then go, okay, Sombra's going to be here in like 3-4 seconds. I need to be like, you're going to have no cooldowns. Guess what? That's fine. Play her in your Brigitte, use corner, anticipate her, think about how she might path towards you. But like, it feels like, you notice again, there's just nothing being done. And so now you have to defensively nade, right?
Yeah.
You're basically praying that your Cassidy hits a shot or your Zarya builds 5 million energy, because there's no other solution here. And then obviously, like, not optimal in terms of target selection, given what information that you have here. I mean, this is free low, right? Either one of these targets here is great, either Cass or Brig. I mean, at least you used something, though. Good? She thought she was cute. Yeah, no comment. yeah. But also this fight in general, like that's like the least egregious thing, right? Like there's just been I think you did like 200 damage, something like that. That entire fight. Or something like that. All right, that's all right. At least we got a nade on Orisa. That's about all I got to say. All right. There's Translocator, there's Virus. that means you can go here and rotate to this angle here and nade, and then just because even if she goes here, she really doesn't want to come out of stealth right now, and she also doesn't have her virus just yet. And the reason why I'm putting so much attention on the Sombra is not because it's Sombra, actually. It's because the fact that there is a person here.
Right.
Everything else just isn't really relevant to you. I mean, look at the positions, right? I guess Orisa to an extent, but like if there is a soldier here or a Cassidy or a Reaper or a freaking flank Kiriko, that would be something that I need to track. But this just Sombra, of course, because Sombra, she's on the flank, right? So I guess you could say it's because it's Sombra, but it's more so because the person that is contesting the angles that you could take is something that you need to respect, if that makes sense. So we're not practicing our Sombra micro here. We're practicing how do I deal with people that are aggressively controlling space that I want. And how you do that is you listen, you track your cooldowns, you track their cooldowns. You heard Suzu from the Kiriko on that left flank. Okay, I got this, right? I heard deflect, I heard dash. Okay, I got this. Reaper just used Wraith and then he teleported out. Okay, there's a window of opportunity here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Goodbye. Oh wow, I can't believe that. What's funny is I actually think you guys are straight up winning, not because you guys are playing well, or is because your guys' composition is so incredibly good versus what they're playing. Like your Brig is kind of lost. You are lost. I'm not super impressed with the way that your Cassidy or I mean your Zarya seems to be doing okay, but like your Cassie's playing. But like I mean look at your comp, right? On a Brig, Zarya, Cass versus what they're playing. I mean that's, and then your Genji's taking angles at least. So it's like you're literally winning just through comp, and nothing else. All right, let's see here. Right there. There it is. It's a good try to sleep. But see, here's the funny thing here. I don't like this nade. Why? I mean, I don't.
She can just back up.
Right, she can just back up, and the other problem is this is Sombra's a threat right now. Because you've heard Transcade about 3 or 4 seconds ago, you don't know where she is, you know she has fire. So you need to hold this nade preferably, and then you can nade this, or nade yourself. Now, if you had nade now, that would be your window here. But now you're free. Now you got a second to do things. You got a good corner to play around. Sombra's not really a threat. Oh, that would have been sick.
Yeah.
You notice that again, whenever you're challenged, all of a sudden you just become like Shu on Ana, you know? But if you're not challenged, you don't try. You have information on Sombra's positioning, so you're probably safe to look for a nade here. I'm predicting somewhere far left, and yes, there you go. Yeah. No. Mary. Oh, like, at least check to see if he shields that. I mean, look at that nade. My goodness gracious. Ah!
It's pretty embarrassing.
That's okay. That's all right. Reality is that I don't... Like I said, an autopilot is a good example of habits when there's no effort. I don't think this is even generally how your performance would be. Ooh. Good.
Yeah.
Winnable. Good shots. Good sleep. Good. No. Oh my days, that nade. Or that bubble. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to look at a few more fights. Do you have another code?
I have. That was the first game I've played.
Okay. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
All right, let's not beat a dead horse here. Let's continue and we will see how you evolve.
And we've lost that game as well.
Okay. Any questions?
Not for now, no.
Okay. Let's see what you do. Tracer, Curie, Sigma, Soldier, Juno. Remember, we're not caring about the character, we're caring about the position that they're in. Right now, Sigma's a problem for you, right? Why? Because he's in the space that you need.
Yeah.
Right now, Tracer's a problem for you. Why? Because she's contesting the space that you're using. So is Soldier. So the problem here is not, oh, I don't know the Soldier matchup. I don't know the Tracer matchup. The problem is, first off, your Genji dies immediately. Second off, where is everybody?
Well, my team or the enemy?
The enemy.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do you
I didn't
understand?
know at the point,
Yeah, exactly. So this is obviously a very unorthodox push from the Soldier Tracer, right? And we're probably not used to that, but that's no excuse, right? Where are they? So then how should I respond? Because that lack of information here means you're putting your attention on a Zarya who's actually not really much of a problem right now, and then you end up getting completely bum rushed, right? So that's okay, happens. So it shouldn't happen again. Even your rotation here is done so deliberately. You see it? It's done so, I bet somebody's here. I bet they're going to try and hold us here. This is good. This is what we were missing earlier. This is a little bit more intention behind what you're doing.
Yeah, now I know what that they were up there left.
I would nade that if I were you. Definitely nade that. You need like this is inexcusable for you to let have when you have nade. Like really inexcusable, right? So stop looking at the person that's getting shot by the high ground and use the cooldown that will deal with the high ground with one button press, right? That's your job. Like they're still there. Like they didn't just disappear. You notice it's the same problem with the Sombra, right? It's who is contesting the space, who is my responsibility to deal with that person. Like even here, right, we're still healing, but you know, one nade and this guy's got to leave, right? And you don't need to use nade Y or save nade Y.
Yeah, because I'm in a completely safe position.
Well, no, you don't know if it's completely safe ever, right? No position's completely safe. But what information do you have the last 15 seconds?
The enemies are way over there.
Way over there. Everybody's there. We know where Tracer is. We know where Soldier is. We don't know exactly, but they're all somewhere over here. So there's really no reason for me to save my CDs.
Yeah, right. I don't even know why I didn't use it.
Right. Well, I do know. It's just because that's probably not something that you think about too much. You're thinking about when I play versus Tracer, this is how I play versus Tracer, but that's not how you play. It's more about this position is threatening. I don't care if it's Juno. If Juno's here, I need to save my nade. Okay? Like, I don't care who it is. If any character is here, then I probably should focus on having a cooldown to duel that person, right? It's not about the person that you're playing versus, it's about the position that they're on. Like, even here, I'd prefer you on the angle here. Yeah, I'd prefer you here. But if you're going to walk here, you should probably save cooldowns because you don't know where people are, right? So you get here, you evaluate, and you decide how you want to use your cooldowns. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you have cooldowns, so you're going to, where are enemy team? Where do I take angle? And then how do I use my cooldowns? Like right now, you know where everybody is. So what should you be doing right now?
Yeah, throwing up my
Throwing an
cooldowns.
Yep, throw in your cooldowns. There's no point saving things right now. You haven't even used your cooldowns yet this fight.
Yeah, I wanted to nade the Sigma, but
that's fine. Right, but you don't need to nade the Sigma because you can nade what you can see. Either does the job, either forcing Suzu or forcing them out, which indirectly does just as much damage as nading a Sigma. It's not about, see, this is the inherent problem of who do you nade, tank or squishies. I don't know. Who can you see? Right? Because the end result's the same. You could nade freaking Soldier over here if he peeked out. Because you know what? Getting him to back out would allow your team to solely focus on, you know, killing the Sigma, right? Without worrying about the threat elsewhere. You just do what's convenient from the position that you're in, and you choose the position based off of the enemy team's positions and where you want to go. I like this position, but you didn't get this position easily. Your team had to clear it for you. And here, you don't need to save cooldowns for Tracer because why?
Yeah, she's not on the point. She's
right. She's a million miles away, right? So she's like the least of your concerns. Now you have a burst. I don't care if your tank is crit. You probably should nade backline. Right now, your Diva's a brainlet. To be honest with you, that's her problem. But again, like you see, like who cares? Nade backline. Why? Because that's what you saw. You could even fish for a sleep dart here, to be honest with you. Just throw it right down here, see if you can catch somebody through that angle. Shut him down. You see the push? You hear the enemy backing off. You have the cooldowns. You have the nano. Let's go.
Yeah. No, just we have nano blades, so
Sure.
you can trigger.
Eh,
Yeah.
sure. It's fine. It's fine. It's
Great
fine. It's
with
fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Where should you be? Where are threats? Where should you be?
Tracers on the back line. So I was kind of worried rotating to the right side of the, just walking through the tunnel, you know.
Well, that's the
So just-
opposite. That's the opposite. You should be tracers in the back line, so you should want to rotate through the tunnel. Why? Think about it.
Distance between
Yes.
me and her?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
What's more useful? Isolate. What's more dangerous? Lack of distance or isolation? I don't know. Right? This is a position where you can get peeled easier, but it's also significantly closer to the tracer. But the reason why I prefer the isolation is that, yes, you are isolated, but at least you can do something while you're isolated here. And to be frank, you could still be peeled from here if we really want to micromanage it here. But do you kind of see how like you're looking at this too myopically? Like, oh, I can't isolate myself. I do not. If I'm coaching Tracer here, you rotating away is really, 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 really annoying, right? I want to harass you here. I want to harass you here. I don't want to harass you all the way over here. That wastes time. That wastes resources. In the meantime, you've got a power position. What the frick are you doing from your position right now?
Yeah. Just
You know,
standing around.
you're getting nothing. You're getting nothing. You're in a position where you should get fluxed. You could get visored. You could get Kitsune Rush. You could get Juno ulted. You could get pulse bombed. You could get flanked, angled, and you get nothing out of it in the meantime, right? To be frank,
I
I
don't
would have
know.
used Nano here too. I think like you're looking for the Nano Blade here, which I think is fair. But this, I don't know. Like this is maybe just a fight where like just write it off, right? The fight's lost, right? But
Yeah.
you know, at the same time, it's just there just was really no pressure output from you this entire fight, and so there's not even an opportunity for a trade. So okay, let's watch one more fight if that works for you. I want you. You're gonna impress me here. I can just feel it. I smell blood in the water. You got information. You know Tracer's top right. You know Soldier's top right. So you're gonna save your CDs. So you're gonna rotate left. Sure. All right. Why are you using your nade here when you could be dove by Tracer? This is a bait question. It's a joke. I'm a plat main. I don't know any better. You tell me.
I don't actually know where Trace is right now, but I don't remember the situation. But I think Tracer is away, so she can't really
Yeah.
push me.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen
But-
your team rotate out through here. You've heard Soldier here. You have a pretty good guess that she's not. And even if you weren't 100% sure, if you do think it's worth the risk, it's okay.
Now I remember the situation. Just keep watching.
Okay. To be honest, you played it really poorly. I look at this situation here, and here, and right here, this is the freest sleep dart in the history of the universe, or even just back off to another corner, or even just run straight to spawn. You know, I don't think that you misplay this. If a Tracer has to use, 2 blinks to get to you, I mean, she's done, right? Like, she has no blinks. She actually has no blinks, right? Like, that's just poorly played by you. It's fine, though. You had every resource that you needed. It's okay. It wasn't a bad name. All right, I lied. You're going to press me this one. You're going to press me this one. You're going to use your nano boost. We're going to pop off. Save your cooldowns. Oh, dear. Oh, you did get him. I thought you missed him. I thought for sure you got Sojourn. Take some space.
Yeah, well.
Take some space. Yeah, I think Nanoblade's fine, but it's just if you're putting everything on the Nanoblade, it can always feel a bit awkward. Unattractive died. Okay, we'll stop there. Goals.
Yeah.
What needs to be practiced?
Putting more attention to whatever I'm doing, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about why I'm doing this, or
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. And you got to evaluate why it's not happening consistently now and why it was consistently happening before. Because you don't get to Masters 2 without some level of intention with your actions. So what's changed?
Right.
What's changed? It's not a bad thing. It shouldn't feel guilty. Maybe this is just you're not as serious about Overwatch right now, or your goals, because you talked about exams, right? Like that's obviously a more important priority that deserves the attention more than Midtown Ana versus Soldier Tracer, right? So it's okay. Like
Right.
I'm just pointing that like there needs to be a consistency with what you want to do and what you're actually doing. That's the key thing here.
Okay.
In terms of how that represents, we've talked about lack of intentions with your rotations with the information that you have, and then also lack of intention with how you're using cooldowns based off of the information that you have. Like those two things are inherently tied together. And so there's going to be a lot more positional flexibility, not because you need to memorize more positions to go to, but because you're just tracking where people are and then making decisions with that information. Beyond that, obviously, there's a clear intention towards being a little bit more passive with who you're healing and damaging, depending on whether you're autopiloting or not. So that's a habit to continue to work on. Okay. Any questions?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. It was a pleasure.